I mean, a lot of what's the youngin Ace,
his boys.
Yeah, been dropping like 6 of them.
Looks like the payback for Foolio's death is in full swing. As we all know, Foolio was ambushed and shot at the Holiday Inn. Since then, the streets of Jacksonville have been heating up, with the bodies of those suspected in the killing dropping like flies. In this video, we're uncovering the violent aftermath of Foolio's murder and diving into the escalating cycle of vengeance in Jacksonville's hip-hop scene. Stay tuned because this story is just wild. The fall of Foolio's killers. On June 23rd, Foolio was shot and killed at a Holiday Inn in Tampa, Florida, in what seemed like an organized hit. Since his death, Jacksonville has been on fire. Foolio's crew has been relentlessly targeting anyone suspected of being involved in his murder, especially his rivals in the ATK crew. Reports of shootings and other violent incidents have surged, with many believing these are acts of retaliation for Foolio's death. Rapper Brick Baby even revealed that at least 6 ATK members have met their end since Foolio's death. For those who ain't familiar with Brick Baby, he's a rapper straight out of the Crenshaw district of South Central Los Angeles. Known for mixing that West Coast vibe with Atlanta's hip-hop flavor, Brick Baby has made serious waves in the underground rap scene. His music career blew up after an 8-month jail sentence in 2012, shifting from managing artists to spitting bars himself. Brick Baby's deep connections within the rap community, particularly with notable artists like Young Thug and Future, have solidified his reputation. He was instrumental in funding early studio sessions for Young Thug, earning him respect and a strong network in the industry. Given his embedded connections in the hip-hop and street communities, Brick Baby's insights into the deaths of ATK members carry significant weight. In a recent No Jumper interview, Brick Baby described how Foolio's death has led to a bloody and violent aftermath in the streets of Jacksonville.
A lot of what's the youngin Ace,
his boys.
Yeah, been dropping like 6 of them.
While it's still tough to verify Brick Baby's statement entirely, one incident that might back up his claim is the death of Lil Leak's big brother, Darius Beals, also known as Fizzle. Darius was outside in a parking lot at the Laurel Grove Apartments in Orange Park when he was shot multiple times. He later died at the hospital. The Clay County Sheriff's Office believes it was a targeted attack and an isolated incident, but the timing and circumstances suggest it was an act of retaliation. Lil Leak and his brother Darius were believed to be part of the 1200 Gang, an affiliate of the ATK crew. This affiliation is one theory behind why he was killed. Another theory suggests that Darius was actively involved in Foolio's shooting. Before his death, Lil Leak, Darius's younger brother, was a significant enemy of Foolio. One of the most shocking incidents that fueled the animosity between Foolio and Lil Leak involved Foolio's girlfriend, Boobin Baby. On April 30th, 2020, Boobin Baby and a friend were heading to a gas station in Foolio's car. As they stopped at an intersection, a shooter opened fire on the car. Boobin tried to drive away while her friend screamed in terror. She was shot 3 times. One bullet grazed her head, another lodged in her knee, and a third took off one of her fingers. Leak was allegedly the shooter, and his homie Spinabenz, also a known ATK member, dissed Foolio over the incident in the track I Don't Smoke Kendry, mocking Boobin Baby's injuries. However, Lil Leak met a tragic end shortly after. On a fateful night in September 2020, Leak, Spinabenz, and a few other 1200 crew members were sitting in a car at the intersection of Atlantic Boulevard and Monument Road around 1 in the morning. Leak, allegedly high on lean, was driving when another car pulled up and started shooting. The ambush was swift and brutal. Leak was rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries, and despite medical efforts, he succumbed to his wounds a few days later. Following Lil Leak's death, Foolio and his allies wasted no time dissing Leak in their music. On Rod K's track, All Gas, Foolio rapped, "Shot my car up twice, then hit my bitch, now Leak rest in peace." Foolio also released a track named after Leak, where he said, 100K, he'll shake the room, sweep his block, we don't need no broom. They ask me how high I am, I'm Leak high, I'm to the moon. Foolio even took it further by getting custom weed packs made with Leak's face on them.
Oh man, you know I keep that leaky, man.
Many on the internet believe Darius saw Foolio's reaction to his little brother's death and decided to team up with the ATK crew to take Foolio out. And y'all know how it goes. Nothing bonds people together like a common enemy. For the longest time, the ATK and Foolio's gang, KTA, have been locked in a deadly feud. If you don't know about this intense gang war, let me fill you in. The roots of the ATK and KTA gang war go way back, tied up in a web of rivalries, alliances, and personal vendettas simmering for years in Jacksonville, Florida. ATK, which stands for things like Ace's Top Killers, Aces to Kill and Aim to Kill, is a gang with members all over the east and west sides of Jacksonville. Unlike most gangs that stick to one block or neighborhood, ATK is a mix of several groups from different parts of the city. One of the most prominent members and the face of the ATK gang is rapper Youngeen Ace. Youngeen Ace, whose real name is Keonta Bullard, emerged as a leading figure in the Jacksonville rap scene. His music, characterized by raw and honest lyrics, often reflects the harsh realities of gang life. However, his rise to fame also made him a target, and his involvement in the ATK gang placed him at the center of the conflict. Other prominent members of ATK include Young 23, also known as RJ, and Trey Shorty. Another key figure is K-So, who, along with his brother Boss Goon and ATKY Breezy, are original members from Melvin Park. The 1200 crew from the east part of the city, including members like Corbin, Spinnabins, Spaz, and Wappa with the Choppa, is also aligned with ATK. On the other side of this deadly conflict is KTA, which stands for Kill Them All. KTA originated from an OG gangster crew known as PCE, or Problem Child Entertainment. PCE was notorious in Jacksonville and faced a major crackdown with a RICO case on November 16, 2017, leading to the arrest of 10 gang members. However, this only paved the way for new members to rise, including notable figures like Foolio. Other KTA members include Kojak, Zion Brown, Techie. The gang also has connections with YNR, Young and Reckless, a group based on the south side of Jacksonville. Notable members from YNR include Rod K, Baby 9, Little 9, and Spodum Godum. The exact start of the beef between ATK and KTA is hard to pinpoint, but these groups have been at odds for a long time. One theory suggests it all kicked off when an ATK member known as Trey Shorty was allegedly robbed by a YNR member named Tony Cho. Looking for payback, Trey Shorty decided to target the home of a KTA member, Zion Brown, also known as Tweak Jit, who just so happened to be Foolio's cousin. This went down early on May 27, 2017. Zion Brown was at home, catching some sleep, with his 16-year-old sister and 4 other kids also in the house, all asleep. Out of nowhere, a loud crash from the kitchen woke everyone up. They rushed to the living room and saw that someone had busted the sliding glass door with a rock. Before they could react, bullets started flying into the house, sending everyone scrambling for cover. Zion's sister SB knew it was Trey Shorty the moment she saw him, thanks to social media and a music video on YouTube. Trey Shorty barged into the living room with a gun and started blasting before taking off. Zion, SB, and another child were all hit. Zion didn't survive, suffering multiple gunshot wounds. SB got shot in her leg and foot, while the third victim was hit all over. When the police arrived, SB didn't hesitate. She told them straight up that Trey Shorty was the shooter and even pulled up his Facebook profile for proof. This key info helped the cops get an arrest warrant for Trey Shorty. Trey Shorty was nabbed the next day near Butler Boulevard and Belfort Road, facing charges of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. As they dug deep, dirt on Trey Shorty started surfacing. Turns out he had a long rap sheet in Clay County. He got busted for drug possession in February, had a felony drug charge in 2016, and 6 burglary counts from 2015, one involving a stolen gun. This painted the picture of a troubled young man with a history of run-ins with the law. Yet it didn't quite explain the motive behind the murder. But if you know the streets, you know this was one of the big incidents that kicked off the deadly war between KTA and ATK. The loss of Zion Brown hit KTA hard, and they were out for blood. They went after multiple prominent ATK members, just like they're doing now since Foolio's death. ATK members killed by the KTA gang. One of the first retaliation hits on the ATK gang was on Youngeen Ace himself. This went down on the night of June 5th, 2018. On that fateful night, Ace, his younger brother Trayvon Bullard, his friend Jacoby Groover, and ATK member Young 23 were out celebrating Trayvon's 18th birthday. As the clock ticked closer to 11 p.m., Ace and his crew decided it was time to bounce from the restaurant and head home. They all entered their ride, with Youngeen Ace in the front passenger seat and his brothers in the back. The streets were pretty quiet, and the night seemed chill, but that calm didn't last long. At approximately 11:30 p.m., as they drove through the city, an unknown vehicle began to tail them. The group, deep in conversation, did not immediately notice the car following them. Suddenly, the trailing vehicle accelerated and pulled up alongside them. Without warning, the assailants opened fire, unleashing a hail of bullets on Youngeen Ace and his brother. The car carrying Ace and his brothers was sprayed with bullets, turning the scene into pure chaos. Ace got hit multiple times, but through the confusion, he managed to call for help. Unfortunately, his brother and friends weren't as lucky. Trayvon Bullard, Young 23, and Jacoby Groover all died from their injuries right there on the spot. Youngeen Ace was rushed to the hospital with 13 to 14 bullet wounds, 8 of which were not immediately removed due to the severity of his injuries. As Ace lay in the hospital, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office launched an intensive investigation into the shooting. Detectives combed through the crime scene, collecting evidence and interviewing witnesses. The investigation revealed that the shooting was a targeted hit, but the exact reasons remained murky. However, many knew Foolio and the KTA gang were behind it, and they made sure to let everyone know by taunting Youngin Ace on social media. Foolio and the KTA crew took their disrespect to a whole new level when they pulled up to the cemetery where Young 23 was buried and shot a music video for their crew member, Jake Jit. While there, they didn't just film. They posed for photos mocking Young 23's burial site. They took pictures holding their shoes up to the grave marker, flipping off the camera, and throwing up gun and gang signs with their hands. But KTA wasn't done yet. Their next target was Corbin Odell Johnson, another prominent ATK member. Corbin was taken out on the morning of July 11, 2018. On that day, 18-year-old Corbin had 2 job interviews lined up, aiming to secure a position that would help him build a promising future. His first interview was with Amazon. Corbin's friend spoke to him via FaceTime while he was at Amazon around 4 p.m. During the call, Corbin mentioned he was waiting for transport and asked his friends to grab him something to eat. He also said he was waiting for his father, who was coming to pick him up for his second interview. Later that day, Corbin's father, Corey Mormon, shared that he dropped Corbin off for his UPS interview around 5 in the evening and picked him up about 45 minutes later. Afterward, Corey drove Corbin to his mother's house on Biscayne Bay Circle around 8 in the evening. The last time Corbin's mother saw him was around 9:30 that night. He left the house shortly after in a white vehicle. The following morning, Corey sent a text message to Corbin at 8:49 a.m., which went unanswered. Corbin had vanished without a trace. As the hours turned into days, Corbin's parents grew increasingly worried. On Friday, July 13th, Corbin's father reported him missing to the police. The family and friends were adamant that it was unlike Corbin to disappear without a word. His mother had always insisted that he keep in touch, even if he was out for the night. But this time, there was no contact at all. The community quickly rallied together to search for Corbin. They prayed and pleaded for any information that could lead to Corbin's whereabouts. On July 11, 2019, exactly 1 year after Corbin went missing, a man clearing land off Utsi Road made a grim discovery. While clearing land with a brush hog, the man discovered a black bag containing skeletal remains. Inside the bag, the body was wrapped in a green tarp. Realizing the importance of his find, the man stopped to avoid further damage to the remains. Upon closer inspection, he saw that the entire skeleton was intact. Investigators quickly arrived at the scene and sent the remains to the medical examiner for analysis. The condition of the remains and the manner in which they were found suggested that this was not a natural death. By July 15, 2019, news reports confirmed the worst fears of Corbin's family and friends. The remains were identified as those of Corbin Johnson. The case was officially upgraded to a murder investigation. After Corbin's body was found, Foolio wasted no time jumping on Instagram to mock the tragic discovery. His post made many believe that the KTA gang was responsible for Corbin's death, adding fuel to the already intense feud.
Nigga get kidnapped like a little baby. Like a little boy.
KTA didn't stop with Corbin. That same year, they also took out another ATK affiliate known as Spaz. Spaz was tight with Spinna Benz and Wapawit Da Choppa, both prominent members of ATK. On August 25, 2018, KTA members spotted Spaz at a Rains High School football game. KTA members opened fire, killing Spaz and injuring 2 other people. Spaz's death was a significant event in the ongoing gang war, as it marked a turning point in the violence between ATK and KTA. The next ATK member to get taken out was Boss Goon. Born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida, Willie Addison, known in the streets as Boss Goon, faced a tough upbringing. His early life was marked by the struggles that many young men encounter in crime-ridden, impoverished neighborhoods. Growing up in such an environment, Boss Goon was exposed to the harsh realities of street life from a young age and found himself drawn to the gangster lifestyle. In 2010, at the age of 16, he found himself entangled in serious legal issues. He was charged with taking someone's life and a gun charge. The charges were eventually dropped, but Boss Goon's legal troubles were far from over. He continued to find himself on the wrong side of the law, facing charges of burglary and perjury. These charges resulted in a 6-year prison sentence, a significant setback for the young rapper. Collectively, with his other cases and trials, Boss Goon spent 10 years behind bars. In June 2018, Boss Goon was finally released from prison after spending a decade behind bars. He emerged with a renewed sense of purpose, determined to leave his criminal past behind and focus on his music career. But hitting the streets again made him a prime target for the KTA gang members. 10 days before his life was tragically cut short, on January 5th, 2019, Boss Goon hyped up his upcoming performance by posting a flyer on his Facebook for a live show at the Paradise Gentlemen's Club on January 15th. On January 15th, 2019, Boss Goon went to the venue with his family and friends, ready to have a good time. He was on stage doing what he loved, rapping, and looked happy and carefree with the crowd before him. Everything went smoothly, but his rivals had an eye on his location, marking Boss Goon for when his performance and the party were over. Around 2 a.m., the night was winding down, and Boss Goon, along with his father, brother, and 3 others, piled into a silver Chevy Tahoe with his father behind the wheel. They drove about 6 miles to Spring Park Road on Emerson Street in the Inglewood area of Jacksonville. This is where surveillance footage captured the moment Boss Goon received injuries that would cost him his life hours later. A silver SUV followed by 2 cars sped past the car park area where Boss Goon and his family were situated in their vehicle and opened fire into the car over 100 times. Boss Goon, seated in the front passenger seat, got the worst of the bullet. His father, who was shot twice, described the horrific incident to the press.
Put my son in the front seat, shot my son in the back, in the head 3 times, shot my nephew several times, a couple more passengers in there were shot several times, numerous of times, and I drove all the way from there to Memorial Hospital.
The death of Boss Goon escalated the already intense rivalry between ATK and KTA. This cycle of retaliation and revenge eventually led to Foolio's death. While the police have yet to identify Foolio's killer, the ATK gang has found ways to claim responsibility for Foolio's murder through their actions and taunts. How ATK claimed Foolio's murder. Just hours after the news broke, Youngeen Ace dropped the video for his latest track, Do It. The timing alone was enough to raise eyebrows, but the content of the song and its visuals added a layer of chilling coincidence, or perhaps something more sinister. The lyrics of Do It are a stark reflection of the violent and tumultuous world that Youngeen Ace and Foolio inhabited. Lines like, every car I'm in, these bitches tinted, eyes stolens and rentals with choppers and killers in it, catch his ass and do his ass, you know he finished, huh? Flip his ass and smoke his ass, we stand on business, paint a vivid picture of a life surrounded by danger and conflict. The hook of the track is downright chilling, with Ace seemingly ordering a hit on Foolio, instructing his crew to do it anytime, anywhere. In a boastful tone, Ace raps, I don't even call him by his name. I call them niggas Lil Do-Its, let's do it. Just call the phone, say they got the low. I told them do it, do it. I ain't sparing shit, it's on sight if we into it, come here. He with his baby do it, he with his bitch do it, with his mama do it, this money make a nigga do it, haha. The accompanying visuals for Do It add another layer of intensity to the track. The video features several masked individuals mowing down a man in what appears to be a hotel parking lot, eerily reminiscent of the circumstances surrounding Foolio's murder. This visual parallel has led many to believe that Youngeen Ace was sending a message that he was responsible for the murder. While people were still reeling from the message in Do It, Youngeen Ace dropped another bomb on June 28th with Game Over. This track sent shock through the hip-hop community and beyond. The track opens with Ace declaring, y'all know I smoke dead people, man, you know what I'm saying? And I smoke 6, haha. This line sets the tone for the entire song, making it clear that Ace isn't holding back. The reference to a 6 inches is a direct jab at Foolio's crew, 6 Block, leaving no doubt about who Ace is targeting. As the song progresses, Ace's lyrics become even more explicit. He rapped, dead on the floor, dead on arrival, Mr. Sick. I'm steady screaming out, fuck the long, fuck the sick. This isn't just a diss, it's a direct and brutal attack on Foolio and his crew. Ace continues with, 4 in the car and 1 of them dead, 3 got hit. I told them niggas they don't want no war with this shit. This line is a chilling reference to the circumstances of Foolio's death, where he was one of 4 passengers in a car. Ace goes even further by detailing Foolio's death in the lyric. He raps, 5.56 increased the murder rate, another body on the way, mask on, get up close, this another closed case. Many believe these lyrics confirm Youngeen Ace's involvement in Foolio's murder. Beyond the diss tracks, the reactions from ATK members have led many to suspect the gang had something to do with the killing. One notable reaction is that of K-So. For those who aren't deep into the Jacksonville hip-hop scene, K-So, born Hakeem Robinson, is a rapper straight out of the streets of Jacksonville, Florida. He is also one of the prominent members of ATK and the brother of Boss Goon. The murder of his brother by KTA members is believed to have turned K so cold-hearted and extremely dangerous. This event fueled his desire for revenge, making him a formidable and feared figure in the streets of Jacksonville. Determined to make those responsible pay, K-So's anger found a target in Charles McCormick, aka Lil Buck, a rapper affiliated with Foolio's KTA gang. Convinced that Lil Buck had a hand in his brother's murder, K-So began plotting his revenge. He enlisted the help of his father, Abdul Robinson, and 2 friends to carry out the hit. The crew caught Lil Buck outside the Arlington Shopping Plaza. Witnesses reported seeing 2 men who fired at least 6 shots before speeding off in a car. Police quickly arrived at the scene and saw one of the shooters standing over Lil Buck. This led to a high-speed chase with the getaway vehicle, which eventually crashed in a residential neighborhood. K-So and his accomplices then escaped on foot, deciding to split up to make it harder for the cops to catch them. K-So Queso went in one direction with a cop tailing him, while the other two men hid in a nearby home, taking the woman who lived there hostage. They stole some of her husband's clothes and made a call to have someone pick them up. The woman who was held hostage later became a key witness, helping the police identify the two men who broke into her home. She identified one of the men based on his tattoos and pointed him out in a police lineup. The person was arrested and admitted to a confidential informant that Queso was the one who killed Lil Buck. While behind bars, Queso faced additional charges that further complicated his legal battles. In 2019, he was charged with the murder of Adrian Gaynor, also known as Bibby, Foolio's younger brother. Bibby was shot and killed outside the Hilltop Village apartments on West 45th Street in Jacksonville. All of this shows how dangerous Queso is. His initial public reaction to Foolio's death was nothing short of explosive. In a now deleted Instagram post, Queso shared a picture of himself with Foolio and two other individuals. The caption read, "You knew when you took your last breath I was going to smoke your ass. It's going to be boring without you. Voodoo couldn't save you." This reaction, along with the series of violent retaliations, suggests that ATK had a significant role in Foolio's death. Another significant reaction came from Spinabens, a prominent member of ATK. Following Foolio's death, Spinabens took to Instagram and reposted one of King Von's old tweets that said, "Game over, we won." Many saw this as a blatant celebration of Foolio's demise, further suggesting ATK's involvement and satisfaction with the outcome. Adding to the controversy, Spinabens and other ATK members were accused of planning to release a diss track using the beat from Chingy's Holiday Inn to further mock Foolio. This move was seen as a deliberate attempt to taunt their rivals and capitalize on Foolio's death. As these taunts continue, it seems like the feud is far from over. If Darius Beale was indeed killed as an act of retaliation, history suggests that more ATK members may lose their lives. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.